Well, since we've had the van the last 8 months, we've put just about 11,000 miles on it. That's given us a great opportunity to decide the things we like, don't like about it. And we thought it'd be a good time to give you a little tour. We purchased a Coachmen Galleria 24 FLM and love it. Okay, so storage up front, we have a small shelf above both the driver's and the passenger's seat. And although we don't have a glove box, we do have a small compartment in front of the passenger seat. We've got oversized visors, which are good. But the one thing Marcy didn't like was it didn't come with a mirror. We found on Amazon a mirror that fits the big visor, has big enough straps to go around it. So now Marcy can admire herself while we're on the road. Both the driver's seat and the passenger seat will fully swivel, which is nice. It gives you a little extra seating. So one of the things that we added is this additional shelf above the passenger and driver's seat. Very, very nice. Adds a bunch of extra space for storage that, was kind of wasted the way Mercedes laid it out. And then the other thing that's nice is it comes with a curtain rod, and they sell their own blackout curtains. The reason that we gravitated towards the Galleria was several, but one of the main one was for this refrigerator. It's the largest refrigerator that you can get in a camper van, and that was very important to us. So this is our lagoon table. We can set it up here with the floor mount. We also have 2 side mounts in the back on each side of the sofa. This is the control center for everything in the residential part of the van. And here we have our Xantrax for the charger inverter. We have the battery on off. This tells us how charged up our lithium batteries are. The shutoff for the solar. This is the monitor for the solar, showing how much power is coming in. LP tank on off switch. This is to heat the tanks. Another one of the reasons that we purchased the Galleria, the model that we have, the FLM, is that it's equipped for cold weather. So we can turn these switches on to heat the freshwater tank, the gray tank, and this switch will heat up the water lines. This is our Truma control center for the furnace and the hot water. And then these are just some light switches and the Wi-Fi switch. This will turn on the lights so that they'll go on and off in the cabinets when we open them. And this is for the ground lights, the lights underneath the van. Well, that's a really nice feature, because you think about, you get up at the middle of the night, get a glass of water, you got to open up the cabinet. If those lights are still on automatic, they're going to glare out and wake up anybody that's sleeping. Welcome to our bathroom. The hot water here has been great. The Truma system is just marvelous. We've never run out of hot water, and it's always been very hot. With the bathroom, we did add this teak floor mat. We bought that on Amazon. We had to cut it to fit, and that's been great. Keeps our feet and the dirt off the floor. One thing I will say that we do not like about this bathroom is the sink. This sink is so small that it's practically worthless. This is our kitchen area. You can see we have a sink here, round sink. It's not our favorite. We actually would like to have been a square sink, maybe fit pots in there a little bit more easily than they do. When we got this, we added this. It's a little attachment we picked up at Ace Hardware for like $15, but otherwise the sink did not have a sprayer. When we first started using the van, we also didn't keep this here. We left it open, but now we've decided after a few trials that it's much better, a little more counter space. We have a 2-burner induction cooktop. And if you've never worked with induction, they're great. I prefer them so much to an electric cooktop. We also have a microwave convection oven. We've only used the convection once or twice. We use it mostly for the microwave. It had the standard max air, I think just the low end max air fan. We pulled that out and upgraded it to the deluxe max air. Works as an exhaust fan. It also will bring air in from the outside. Plus it has a cover that comes with it that goes up and down, so you can run the fan while you're driving and even during the rain. Okay. So we have a Firefly system that's used to control our lights, our heat, lets us monitor our tank. It's very convenient. One of the things we don't like about the Firefly in general is that all the lights are controlled there. We have no light switches. The main screen is up in front on the cabinet side. So this is the main screen, and it's a little bit bigger, easier to read, easier to work with. But what I don't like is it's below the counter. I have to stoop down almost on my knees to work with it. We have these drapes that we put up in front of the rear doors. The van does come with a shade, but it's difficult to reach and it's a struggle to pull it up and down. The drapes are so simple, and plus they do a much better job of insulating against the heat. So one of the questions we get is, why did we choose the FL model of the Galleria? If you're at all familiar with Gallerias, the main difference in the models is the bed configuration. So we still use the twin bed configuration for sleeping, but during the day when we're traveling on the road, we like to keep it set up as the lounge. So back here, wanted to point out, we have a reading light for each side, easy on and off, just a little touch. And in addition to that, there is a USB connection at each light. If we hadn't mentioned already, this is a 2021 model. And the technology reflects that in some ways. This is the charging center, as they call it. And when we came in, it was basically one side was a cigarette lighter type charge and the other was an A and a C. So I pulled those out. I bought a couple of these charging stations from Amazon, and it's great. So we have the conventional A type, and then we have two Cs. And we did it on both sides. And if you're not using one of them, you can turn them right off. Like everything else in life, there's good and bad. This certainly added to the convenience for us charging. But those blue lights, even though they don't look very strong now, when everything else is turned off, they're like right in your eye when you're trying to go to sleep. So we throw a towel over it at night. We had a smart TV, but it wasn't nearly as smart as the ones they're making now. So we bought this Vizio and replaced it. And this is great. It gives us all of our abilities to download, and I can use it as a monitor with my laptop. And it was only $125, so how can you go wrong? We do have a built-in entertainment center. It does connect to the television, and it also runs through a speaker system back here. And it's also Bluetooth. If I want to hear music, I can connect my phone to it and then use my Spotify or Pandora. So even though we configure the beds as twin beds, the bed is a little bit too narrow for Marcy's liking. So we had to figure out a way to make it a little wider. So I made a small table, just cutting down an old shelf that we had, getting a couple of foldable legs from Amazon, and we can make the bed area that much wider and gives Marcy a lot of extra space. So even though we use the configuration of twin beds for sleeping, this can be converted to a full-size bed, almost the size of a king. But, you know, us old people, especially if we have to get up in the middle of the night, we don't like to struggle to get out of bed, so we like to keep that aisle down the middle, which is why we prefer the configuration as twins. So one of the disadvantages that some people find with the Sprinter vans, because they're among the narrowest of the vans, is that it's very difficult to sleep east-west, particularly if you are tall, 5'10" or more, and maybe even shorter than that. One of the reasons we bought Coachman was because of the quality. And if you look here, you can see dovetail joints. These are solid wood doors, solid wood fronts. And then we have a lot of cabinet space, all nicely made. You can see the light going on when we open it. And I'll tell you one thing, you really know how solidly built these are when you bang your head on them. So one of the changes we made after we purchased the van was to take out the factory installed air conditioning. It was a 12-volt system, was not very powerful, and had a very, very hard time cooling the van. We bought a Houghton Bel Air 15,000 BTU air conditioner and had it installed. So it's a 120-volt system, and it runs off through our inverter. We have a 3,000-watt inverter. And with our lithium batteries, we do have enough power to run that even when we're not hooked up to shore power. Unfortunately, the batteries don't have enough to run it for a very long time if it's very hot and the compressor is running full time. But for example, if we If we stop for something like going shopping at Walmart, Marcy and Luna stay in the van, we can keep it running for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it takes, and they stay cool. And even when they're run down to about half, it doesn't take more than a couple of hours of driving to get them recharged back to 100%. If we know we're going to be in some place with a lot of heat for a while, then we will look to get ourselves into a campground where we can hook up and run the air 24/7.